Thanks for tuning in to this episode of the Gaming Stooges Talks podcast. We are the Gaming Stooges.
I'm Jack.
You can call me Cloud.
And I'm Landon.
We hope you enjoyed today's discussion, and if you do, please consider subscribing to our YouTube channel, following us on Twitch, or joining our Discord. Let's get on with the show.
Smash or pass?
Let's pass.
Pass. Or smash.
All right, podcast over.
Oh, that's
See
it.
you next time.
See you next. That was it. That was the podcast. Tonight we're going to talk about Super Smash Brothers, a popular platform fighter series, and a series
I'm
that
here to talk about Super Pass Brothers.
Super Pass Brothers. Super Smash Brothers is a series that we all have varying levels of experience with, and if you don't know, that's the one where you get to pick your favorite Nintendo character and beat up on other Nintendo characters, except asterisk, the later games have more than just Nintendo characters in them.
It's true.
So, rather than ask for any background, I think we'll be able to just get there as we go along. We're just gonna jump right in. We've got, technically, six major titles to talk about.
6.
I was doing the fingers wrong. I held up 7 at first. I can't count. And the first of those is Super Smash Brothers for the Nintendo 64. Just Super Smash Brothers, released for the Nintendo 64 in North America on April 26th, 1999. That game is 25 years old now. So if you feel old, you're with us. Congratulations.
It came out on Landon's birthday.
Yep. Sold 5.
Came out on my birth
on his
day.
I was going to say, you were not born in 1999. It sold 5.55 million units and is the best-selling game on the Nintendo 64 that was never bundled with the console. Now, it is the 5th best-selling overall, though. So the other 4 have all been bundled with the N64 in some manner. But it introduced the first 12 characters, which are known as the original 12. Going forward, I am only going to actually list off the new characters per game. I will not list off the returning characters.
Have fun naming all of the new characters once we get to the later games.
Yeah, I know.
Literally any game after this.
So
It's a lot.
The first 12, you got Mario, Donkey Kong, you got Samus, Link, Yoshi, Kirby, Fox, and Pikachu for starter characters. And you've got Luigi, Jigglypuff, Captain Falcon, and Ness for unlockable characters. These 12 characters do appear in every future installment. So just like Mario Kart 64 onward with your core 8, you got the original 12. They're in every game. You've got a few different kinds of game modes in this one. You've got what's called the 1P game, which is classic mode. You've got training mode. You can do break the targets, which there's some form of this in pretty much every game going forward. And you've got board the platforms uniquely as actually its own mode that you can do. And you've got your multiplayer versus mode. There's not really a bunch of settings you can finagle with in this game, besides being able to change between I think you can add a timer. You unlock the ability to turn off items after you've played enough versus matches, but that's about it. This game has 9 stages that can be selected for versus mode, with 8 of them that you get at the start, and you get 1 extra unlockable. There are a couple other stages that are exclusive to the 1P game. Notably, this is the only game where the popular Battlefield and Final Destination stages are not in the versus mode. So that's pretty cool. This game obviously introduced all of your core mechanics. You've got your different special moves. You've got your different regular attacks. Almost everybody does a sex kick for their neutral aerial. It's
What?
That's what the move is called. When they're stretching out their
Yes.
leg and their fist, that is called a sex kick.
What?
That is the move.
That is That is real.
That is real. Yeah.
I'm gonna ask Reggie about that. That doesn't sound real.
I mean, it's not... Super
I'll-
Smash Brothers obviously didn't coin the term, but that's just what the term is for that specific, like, move that they do. It's pretty funny.
I'm getting Reggie on the line right now to ask about that. Hey, Reggie. Yeah, he says sex kit.
Yeah. That is
Yeah,
what it's...
that ain't real.
That is what it's
Reggie
called.
says that ain't real. Nope, Reggie.
So, anyway, we've got
Reggie.
those characters, stages, you've got those modes, you've got the core basis for the series introduced in this game. So, question, what do you guys have for experience with this game? And if any, who are some of your favorite characters to use?
Yeah, I'm a master of the sex kick.
The best move.
The move I know everything
You
about.
You jump and then you press A without holding any direction. That's all you
Isn't that just a neutral air?
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's like the
All right.
particular pose like a character has where like one leg is extended and the other one isn't. It's
That's
just
not
a,
sex.
I don't know. Yeah, duh. I've played this game the second least out of all of the games in this franchise.
On a number of fingers, how many have you played it times?
What?
How many have you played it times? Is that
How many
that's-
times
that
have
is-
I played
Yeah.
it?
Yeah.
Yeah,
At
those
least
are the words that...
At least this many.
At least 3.
Okay. 3
Um,
times he has played.
At least.
I mean, you are the youngest of the group, so I wouldn't be surprised if you
I've
don't have a whole lot of experience.
I mean, I've played it plenty. It's not, I don't play it like a ton because, like, by the time I got into the franchise, Melee was already out, so. But I like, in this game, Ness, who is my favorite character. I like Mario a lot. Fox is fun. Kirby is fun. Yoshi is fun. There really aren't any like characters that I really dislike playing as in this game. I mean, there's only 12.
What about Pikachu? Do you like playing as Pikachu?
Sure.
You're wrong. Get out of here.
Wow.
Okay. Goodbye.
So yeah, anything else, Jack? Experience with the game?
I mean, I've played it here and there over the years, but it's not one that I go back to a ton.
Okay. I have a fair bit of experience with this game, mostly because I had an N64 before Melee came out, and I played this quite a lot before Melee came out, and I even played it a little tiny bit after because, as I mentioned in a previous podcast, I didn't get a GameCube until quite late, so I was only really able to play Melee with my friends that also had one. So I still was playing a little bit of Smash 64 until I dropped out of the series for a little bit. If anybody that knows me, I'm going to say this in every single game going forward, but my main is Pikachu. And I do like using a couple other characters, namely, I do enjoy using Kirby. Kirby's pretty fun to use in this game. And I sometimes like to use Captain Falcon. He's pretty cool. I don't really like using too many of the characters in this game just because, like, the controls for this game are kind of weird. Like, the movement feels a little bit clunkier. It's not going to get better for a few games, in my opinion. But, so, like, I had to use, like, characters that just, like, felt good for me. And, like, it was basically those few. As well, I guess Fox as well. I always liked the fact that this game had that Meta Crystal stage where you got to fight Metal Mario in the classic mode. I don't know about you, but I always thought that was cool. Right before
it's
you
a fun
fight Master Hand.
Yeah. It's a cool stage.
Which, Master Hand, by the way, that is a fresh character for the Super Smash Bros. Series, and that is not going to be the only one. We got actually quite a few characters that are Smash exclusive. Nothing playable, though. That's the weird running thing.
Sonic the Hedgehog is a Smash original.
No, he's not. But yeah, I used to play this mostly by myself, but I used to play with friends occasionally, here and there. How about you, Landon? Did you play Smash 64?
I've played this game so little, I don't even know if I have a main.
Nice.
So, I mean, I played it some, but like Jack, by the time I was like really playing a Smash Brothers, Melee was like well out. So, I don't. Yeah. I probably played Link the most if I had to hazard a guess as a character that I played. But that's probably it.
That seems like a thing you would do. Probably just spam arrows and bombs and throw them at people, right?
No, I would just spin around.
Oh, okay. That also works.
Circles.
That also
Just
works.
Circles. That's it. And then fall off this side of the stage.
Speaking of...
Not because anyone hit me, because I ran off.
Oh, I was going to say, did you play on Hyrule Castle a lot? Was that your stage of choice?
I don't know.
You don't know.
I mean...
That was my favorite
other
stage
games,
to play on. I like to play on Hyrule Castle in Smash 64. Even though it has, like, the tornadoes, I don't know. I like the fun house that you can, like, hit people in and juggle them around. It's like a little fun house that's over on the right-hand side of the screen.
The danger zone.
That's what you call it? The danger zone?
I don't know. I think everyone has a little name for it. It's the...
What do you call it, Jack?
Sorry, what was it?
In Hyrule Castle.
The little house thing that you can, like, hit people off of.
Oh,
What do you call it? I call it the fun house.
I don't really have a name for it.
Call it the Sex Palace.
Oh, God.
Sure.
Okay.
Where you perform
That's where you give them the good sex kick.
Yeah.
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 So yeah, not a lot to talk about with Smash 64. It is pretty bare bones. So like, there's not a lot to do. You unlock the 4 unlockable characters, the 1 unlockable stage, and maybe play enough versus modes to turn off items, because for some reason, you have to do a bunch of versus matches to have the choice to turn off items in versus mode.
The correct way to play the game.
God.
With items. Got it.
Hey, that's true. What was your favorite item to use, if you remember using one in Smash 64?
I'm trying to remember what items were even in that game.
I think
was the gun in the game.
There was a gun.
Yeah, there was a couple. There was actually, I'm not sure if the Super Scope was in this one. I know that the regular laser gun was.
Probably not.
Let's see. We have Beam Sword, Bob-omb,
I love the Beam Sword.
Oh, I love
regular
the Beam Sword
bomb.
Too. Beam Sword's fun. No.
Bumpers, crates, fire flowers, green shells, hammers, heart containers, home run bats, Maxim tomatoes, motion sensor bombs, Pokeballs, red shells, star rods, and star mans.
They're not good, but goddamn do I love home run bats. Those are my favorite. I don't know what it is. Like, in other games, they just don't have that same feel to them. There's a weird sense of impact in the first game when you do the home run bat, and it just feels so good to knock somebody senseless with it. Does it work well? Absolutely not. But goddamn is it fun as hell. So, if I'm going to be forced to use items, I'm at least going to have my home run bat.
And that's it.
Yeah. Home run bat only. Hyrule Castle.
Sex kick. Let's go.
Sex kick.
I'll meet you in the. Meet you in the Sex Palace.
You can only use the sex kick.
Only sex kick or the home run bat.
Or the home run bat. Gotcha.
Yeah.
So yeah, you've got Super Smash Bros. Melee was the next game. We'll just move on to that. That was released on the Nintendo GameCube in North America on December 3rd, 2001. It actually sold more copies than the original, with 7.41 million units. And surprise, surprise, it is the best-selling game on the GameCube. Who could have predicted this?
That doesn't sound right. That doesn't sound right.
You got 14 new characters, including Peach, Bowser, Dr. Mario, Zelda, Sheik. Zelda and Sheik are rolled into one character. You can transform between them. You've got Ganondorf, Young Link, Falco, Mewtwo, Pichu, Ice Climbers, Marth, Roy, and Mr. Game & Watch. A bunch of those are considered clone characters, and on the character select screen, they'll be next to the character that they are supposedly a clone of. You've got a bunch of new game modes. You have, obviously, the returning stuff like Classic Mode. You've got, your target test, but they also added in an Adventure Mode. You've got the new All-Star Mode, where you get to fight the one of every character. You've got Event Match, where you have like these different little scenarios that they'll put you in. You can do a home run contest. There's a multi-man melee, where you can fight a bunch of whatever that game's like multi-man thing is. Like in the first game, it's the Fighting Polygon team. In this game, it's wireframes. It's like I don't remember what they call them, but I'm pretty sure they're like wireframes. And then you've got a new variety of like special melee mode options. So like when you do versus mode, you can actually like tinker with like what the stipulations will be for like certain kinds of just like added placements in there. There's a tournament mode, so you can like throw a bunch of people up there all in one. They can like take turns fighting each other. It is the first game in the series to include trophies. So if you like collecting stuff, you can collect trophies in this game. And there are actually quite a lot. There's 29 stages in this game. You've got 18 starting and 11 unlockable. 3 of those returning from Smash 64, as well as them adding Battlefield and Final Destination with new designs, making their first appearance in the versus modes. And we've got a bunch of new mechanics added into the fighting as well. New items, a lot of just new stuff in addition to all of the stuff that they've like tinkered with. Some game balance changes and stuff like that. What do we got for experience with Super Smash Bros. Melee? And who are your main characters? I played it once.
I played it one single time.
One single time? Have you never...
Maybe, I don't know.
I was going to say, have you really never played it since?
Oh, no, I played it.
Jack, are you with us?
Sorry, what?
This kid is not here for this podcast.
No, he's still recovering from his ass injury.
Listen, my ass still hurts, honestly.
Oh,
that's why I said the words I said. He got hammered. He really got hammered last week.
What was the question?
Have
you ever played Melee?
Yeah.
No, I've never played Melee before in my life.
What characters did you not play when you were playing Melee?
What characters did you use when you weren't playing Melee?
When I wasn't playing Melee, let's see. Chun-Li, Spider-Man.
All right.
Morrigan.
Doku.
Yes, I've played Melee before. I've played it many times. I used to compete in Melee. I used to go to tournaments.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Forgot you did do that.
I used to go to weeklies a lot down at Purdue, and I went to a couple of big ones as well. But I played Marth. Marth is always my go-to in Melee. He's my best character. He's the one I usually perform the best in. I also love Sheik, Falco. I like Ice Climbers. Let's see. I love Ness, even though he's really bad. I love Ganondorf, even though he's really bad. Well, he's not really bad.
I was going to say, Ganondorf's pretty good in this game. He's better in this game than in any other game.
He's middle of the pack. But yes, he is better in this game than any other game. There are very few characters in this game that I straight up do not enjoy playing as. It's pretty much just Bowser, honestly. Like, Bowser is dog shit in this game, which is disappointing, because I do like Bowser in future games, but in this game, he sucks.
That's fair.
But, yeah. Melee.
So as for me, it took a while for me to be able to get into Melee. I played it a few times when friends or classmates had it, and we would gather together and play it a bit. I eventually got a GameCube in 2007, and I did get Melee when I got that. Obviously, again, Pikachu is my main, but I also liked using Young Link and Falco, and Roy to an extent. I always preferred playing as Young Link more than Roy, though, and even though they're like totally different characters, like back when I was a kid, I was like, oh, I only want to use one character really that uses a sword, even though these two characters use their swords totally differently. That was just how I rationalized it. I was always the type to play through the adventure mode and the event matches. Who else here struggled on that damn final event with Giga Bowser?
Where you have to fight
Giga
Bowser, Mewtwo, and Ganondorf. Yep.
Oh my god.
Easiest way to do it, genuinely, just Jigglypuff rest. It's the way to get rid of them quickly.
Yeah, I had a feeling it'd be something like that.
I have played through all of the events in this game at least a few times. Because it's like, you can do that in that's like an afternoon activity. You know, it's like, it takes like 2 hours to get through all of them.
Yeah. Yeah, that's basically everything I want to say about like my involvement with Melee. What about you, Landon?
Melee is famously the game my mom said I was not old enough to play.
Really?
Yeah, I asked her.
It was rated T for teen.
Yeah, I asked her if I was allowed to buy a copy after playing my stepbrother's copy, and she was like, "How old are you?" And I was like, 12. And she's like, "Sorry, kid."
Oh, so this wasn't even like a drastic age difference. This was just like...
No. It was like a year.
Wow.
And I was like, all right, that's fine. And so maybe that's partially why I don't... I mean, I got Brawl pretty early into when that came out, but like, Melee is like... It's like... I look back onto it and I'm like... It's like cartoonish, like how she was like, I'm gonna follow the ESRB, when a lot of like parents were like, yeah, fuck it, you want Resident Evil? Here you go.
Yeah.
Especially when like
shit like that.
We'll play Metal Gear Solid at the age of 8. Go ahead.
Especially like when Melee is such it's barely a T-rated game. Honestly,
yeah,
like it's a little. It like back then they didn't have the E10 rating, so they were just like, "Ooh, it's just a little bit too violent for the E rating," so they give it a fucking T. And I just don't really get it, honestly.
Yeah,
it's probably
but we live that was totally different times, ladies and gentlemen. Totally
Maybe it's because there are planes and buildings in it, and it came out after 9/11.
Oh God.
Maybe.
Remember Corneria?
Oh yeah.
But I did play this game. I would eventually go on to purchase a copy of the Smash Brothers of Melee. And play it quite a bit. I played a lot of the events. I remember playing the All-Star match a bit where you like fight everyone. I don't remember if I got all of the trophies, but like I enjoyed that. I think as far as like my main is probably Link in this. Although I did when I unlocked him, I used Mr. Game & Watch a ton. Because he's so fun. And then I'm trying to think of who else I would have used.
Is it Mewtwo?
No. Maybe a little bit. I probably dabbled with all of the Pokemon characters, and probably Mewtwo the most out of them. Probably Roy, I want to say. I probably used Roy, and then probably like your Mario, your Dr. Mario, Father Mario.
Father Mario.
Mario's a priest now.
Engineer Mario.
Why have they not put out the Bible game Mario Edition?
What the fuck is Nintendo doing?
They could be capitalizing on some serious bread.
They really could.
I actually just have the image of Mario wearing a father's outfit with like the collar and like the everything, just like walking around beating up Goombas.
Or alternatively, he's dressed as Father Kevin from The Legend of Heroes.
Ooh. True
classic idea right there.
True classic.
And then he uses a crossbow, like Father Kevin from The Legend of Heroes.
Oh yeah, I forgot to mention, Melee also introduced Crazy Hand. You guys like Crazy Hand?
Crazy Hand.
He's crazy.
He's the left hand.
Yeah, he's the left hand.
I was
using my right hand, but it's the left hand. Oh wait, no, I was using my left hand. I'm looking at the webcam and I'm seeing myself flipped. So like, no, I was
stage left.
Stage left. But yeah, anything else to talk about Melee?
Melee is like here, which is like barely visible.
Barely visible.
Smash 1 is like
off
here.
It's like down slightly off the webcam's visibility.
Yeah, so that's sort of where we're at right now with my interest with the series. Is like Melee at least has content, but the issue is the human race has decided to make it the most important, so I care almost the least amount.
Yeah, fair.
Yeah.
Moving on to Super Smash Bros. Brawl. This is the third game in the series. Came out on Wii in North America on March 9th, 2008. It sold 13.32 million units and is the Wii's 8th best-selling game. There are 39 playable characters, counting all characters that can swap into another one as separate characters. So Pokemon Trainer, Samus and Zero Suit Samus, and Zelda and Sheik, basically. You've got 21 returning from the previous game and 18 newcomers. Those newcomers being Diddy Kong, Toon Link, Zero Suit Samus, Meta Knight, King Dedede, Wolf, Squirtle, Ivysaur, and Charizard, which make up the Pokemon Trainer. There's Lucario, Lucas, Ike, Pit, Wario, Olimar, Rob, Snake, and Sonic. So you got your first third-party characters. They did cut a couple of characters. They cut Mewtwo, they cut Pichu, and they cut Young Link. They cut Roy, also didn't make it. So Dr. Mario, yeah, he was also cut. Am I missing somebody? I think that's everyone.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, it's 5 characters that got cut.
Right, correct, yeah.
So
yeah, I'm pretty sure I got them all. So yeah, you've got a few characters that were cut, and then there are a few characters that are like in as sort of like a substitute for some of these cut characters. Like Toon Link is here basically to replace Young Link, because at the time, Young Link got in because Majora's Mask and Ocarina of Time were the games at the time, and Toon Link came in because at the time you had a bunch of Zelda games with that kind of style. You had Wind Waker was the big one, but also the ones on the Game Boy Advance like Minish Cap and stuff like that. Even, Phantom Hourglass, I believe, had come out by this time already as well. So you had a pretty consistent style. So they just decided that's the kid like Link we're gonna go with, and he became his own character. So that's all the new characters. This game also was the first to allow you to collect music for stages and adjust the songs to play on your different stages based on on what frequency that you want them to appear. And also included masterpieces, which were virtual console demos of games that you could play. Time sensitive though, because they lasted a very short period of time. We could talk more about those in a little bit. There were 41 total stages. There were 31 of them being new. So a lot of new stages. And you had 10 that were returning from previous games. This game also added the final smash to the series, which started with like a smash ball, so you can fight for this like super attack that your characters can get. This game also has a bunch of other gameplay changes. You have the introduction of stuff like crawling, gliding, wall clinging, footstools. There's the infamous tripping mechanic, which is only in this game. Never made a comeback.
Boo.
Yeah. So, the only one with it. You also have characters able to swim in stages that have water, and amusingly, Sonic and Charizard will take damage while they're swimming, so that's pretty cool.
They will drown.
Yeah. So as far as modes go, you've also got the returning stuff like Classic Mode, All-Star Event, you got training modes, Home Run Contest, Multi-Man. There's the Subspace Emissary. That's like the big... That is the big kahuna of Super Smash Bros. Brawl, the crown jewel, if you will. He's fully fleshed out story mode with a bunch of cutscenes, an actual like plot behind it, and that is...
There's a hidden sex scene where Mario does the sex kick at the Sex Palace. Go find it.
Landon's making up rumors about 15-year-old games.
I'm not making shit up. I heard about that on the playground. Thank you very much.
But yeah, that's
some kid told me about it today.
Is that the playground that had Mud Day?
It is, in fact, the playground that had Mud Day.
Beautiful.
That small girl that was on the swings told me about it while you were looking away.
So,
and you didn't tell me?
I'm telling you now.
So Brawl had that Subspace Emissary for the adventure mode, and it had a bunch of boss battles in it, and those boss battles actually could be fought in a separate mode where you just fight the bosses. So that was pretty cool. And of course you've got your regular Smash modes, you've got a bunch of other like options to like play against your friends or just with computers. It is the first game in the series to add online play, and God does it suck. It was amazing. It was really, really bad. But you could play online against anybody. You could play against your friends. You could play with just randos. You could spectate games. And this game also was the first to include a stage builder. So you can make your own stages. You can't play those online, but you can play them offline with your friends. And you can even assign music to them. You can put all sorts of little obstacles. There's different styles you can use. So, yeah, it's pretty cool. Super Smash Bros. Brawl. There's a lot we can say here.
How many penis stages did you make?
How many penis stages did I make?
Yes.
Not many.
Not enough.
Not enough.
But you made more than 0.
Yes.
Okay. That's all I need to know.
Yeah. It's more than 0.
Okay, good.
Don't worry. Were you just gonna ask me about experience with Brawl?
Yep.
Okay. This was like probably because like I was familiar with the series up to this point.
Can we say this is probably one of the most hyped games of all time?
I think it's the most hyped game of all time. Like genuinely, like the fucking just the sheer amount of like back in the day you could go onto YouTube but after Brawl's Japanese release but before it came out in America, you could go onto YouTube and the front page every single time would just be like gameplay footage of Brawl because people were just like obsessing over it. You had Smash Dojo with like new news every fucking day. Like this is probably like one of, if not my most anticipated game of all time, before it came out, because like I had already been familiar with the series with Melee, and then I was familiar. I kept up with it, not like too crazy because I wasn't on the internet a ton back then, but I did keep up with like the news about the game. I watched like videos of it, and this was another thing where my mom was, and when I was a kid, was very strict about the ESRB ratings, and Brawl came out right before I turned 13. So I thought, okay, I'll ask for it for my 13th birthday, and it was a real crapshoot as to whether or not I would actually get it. But I talked it up a lot to my mom, and I did end up getting it, thankfully. And I played this game a shitload. It was... I mean, I've talked about this in podcasts before, but, like, this game has the best single-player content in any Smash game. I would play, like, if it was just a weekend where I wasn't doing anything else, I'm like, alright, I'm just gonna play Brawl until I go to sleep. And it was like that for, like, several years. I would just play Brawl, like, by myself, whether it was just, like, doing events, or just, like, playing matches, or fucking single-player shit, like Classic Mode, replaying the Subspace Emissary. There's so much to do in this game. So much to see. So what's wrong with taking the back streets?
I knew you guys were gonna say that.
I love this game. This was a very important game for me growing up.
Oh yeah, so I had heard about the rumors, the fake ones, by the way. They weren't real, but there was like rumors that you could unlock Sonic and like other characters in Melee. And so imagine me being a part of that wave of people finding out when they go on Smash Dojo for the day. And the fucking thing that they have for the blog of the day is newcomer character, and it's fucking Sonic the Hedgehog. Like,
that was, I believe it was October 10th, 2007, when they announced that. Like, that broke the internet. Like, I remember that very clearly, and I remember freaking the fuck out as a fan of Sonic and a fan of Smash Brothers.
Yep.
So,
I'm not gonna lie.
Like, it was huge.
Like, this game was actually the first game in the series where I actually learned how to play and not just spam buttons. Because that's pretty much what I do in most fighting games, is just spam buttons. But, no, in Smash Brothers, because of the unique platform fighting aspect to it, you have a lot more freeform movement. It made me want to actually, like, learn how to play and understand the game on a more fun, deeper level with like the mechanics. So this was like the first game. I know it's like weird to say that Super Smash Bros. Brawl, the one that most people regard as like the sloppiest, clunkiest, like the like most undesirable one to play like on a competitive level, is the one that I learned how to play better in, but that's just how it is. My main being Pikachu. I've also played as a bunch of other characters. I mean, obviously I used Sonic a lot. I used Toon Link quite a lot, obviously, because that was carrying over from using Young Link in Super Smash Bros. Melee. I continued to play Falco quite a bit. I didn't really play too many other characters aside from like Meta Knight and I mean, I definitely have used, like, most of these characters, but, like, those were, like, the ones that I remember using a lot. I have to say, this is probably my favorite batch of new stages. Like, there's so many good stages in this game.
Oh, yeah. 100%.
Like, Delfino Plaza, Halberd.
Oh, classic.
Smashville.
Classic.
Like... So, we didn't talk about the stages from previous games. That's because the stages in the first game kind of suck ass. The stages in Melee, you've got some pretty good ones. You've got Pokemon Stadium. You've got Battlefield and Final Destination actually being usable. You've got Dreamland.
Yoshi's Story.
Yoshi's Story's good.
You got Corneria. You have Great Bay. You have Temple.
Temple's the big one.
Temple is like...
the multiplayer stage.
In terms of casual Smash Brothers, probably the most iconic stage in the franchise.
I wouldn't even say, like, probably, like, it is.
Yeah.
Like, even more than
Like-
Final Destination.
It's got Sex Palace 2.
Electric Boogaloo.
See, now that, like, the down area, like the area below the surface on
Temple.
fucking Temple, that's the danger zone.
That's the danger zone. That's the
Yeah.
that's the fun palace.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, like Brawl though. Oh my god. So there's those other ones that we've already mentioned. What else? There's so much.
You got Pirate Ship from Wind Waker.
Pirate Ship is good.
You got Pokemon Stadium 2.
Yep, Pokemon Stadium 2 is good.
You got Spear Pillar, which is pretty crazy.
Spear Pillar's fun. Yoshi's Island is pretty good. You've got
Yoshi's Island is a good one.
Bridge of Eldin, iconic stage. This is a nice simple stage.
Mario Circuit, great stage. Port Town Aerodive, the sequel to fucking
Big Blue.
not Big Blue, Mute City.
Mute City, yep. That one's good.
Because Big Blue is in this game actually.
Right, yeah.
You've
got my most despised stage in all of Smash Brothers history, Hannonbow.
Yeah.
I hate that
good
stage.
Answer, Steve. But no, there's so many fucking good
Castle
ones. in Brawl.
Siege is a good
Castle
one.
Siege, WarioWare,
Lilac Cruise. God, so many.
PictoChat.
PictoChat was actually a fun stage.
PictoChat is a classic.
Like,
I love PictoChat.
so many good new stages in Brawl. Like, definitely my favorite of the bunch. And like,
Yeah,
even
for
like
sure.
the big open multiplayer focused stages like Newport City are pretty good. For casual stages, stuff like Shadow Moses Island is a fun time.
I hate 75 meters though.
Yeah, that one's kind of garbage.
That stage sucks ass.
Yeah, I'll agree with that. That one's kind of garbage. But I mean, overall, a lot of good stages. As far as like what else I liked to do, I like to make stages a lot. My favorite stage that I made was like, there was like a row of blocks, like solid ones. There was 2 platforms that were pretty like those ones that you could jump through. I would have like one of those like cage-like platforms in like the middle with like 2 ramps leading up to it. And then I would have a row of spikes underneath the stage. I don't know why, but like I liked having the spikes there. The stage was definitely not something that would be considered tourney legal, but it was fun. I liked to put on the boss music as like the battle theme for the stage because I liked the boss music for this game. Another thing about this game, God, the soundtrack is so good.
The soundtrack, the best soundtrack in the series by far.
Oh yeah. As far as like new compositions, arrangements, and stuff like that, like Brawl is easily the best one.
Oh yeah. There's so many good fucking songs. Too many to name, honestly, but like the fact that they introduced the like choosing the frequency for which music plays on each stage, makes you appreciate each song even more, I feel like, because it's like you can see like all of the fucking music that went into this game and like just how many songs can potentially play on a given stage.
Oh yeah. So I mentioned Melee was like starting the whole craze that Smash Brothers is kind of known for, is having a fuck ton of collectibles. So you had trophies. Well, this game you can collect music like I mentioned earlier. You can collect stickers, which you can use to like augment your character for the story mode, and that would come into play both in this game and a future game, in a sense. We'll talk about it. But there was that. You could unlock those demos that you could do, like the masterpieces. Excuse me. Just so many things that you could just unlock as like just stuff. So just, if you were playing Brawl, like you had a lot of stuff to just chew on. It is a shame. I know that I think this started in Melee, but the target test mode in the original game, they had a unique one for each character. But I think at least as early as Brawl, but possibly Melee, the target test is like the same across all characters. So you don't get that bit of like extra stuff to play, but I mean, you've got that home run contest, the boss battle mode. Like there's so much you can do. So much. Jack, I didn't get to actually hear from you what your the characters you used to use the most.
Brawl was I was kind of all over the place with Brawl. When the game first came out, it was Sonic, and it was like, as soon as I unlocked Sonic, he was like the character I played the most. Eventually I kind of moved on from him and started using Toon Link more. And then it was, and you know, I do still love all of these characters, but like, it went from Sonic, then it was Toon Link, then it was Ike for a while.
I had a friend who exclusively played Ike and nobody else.
That's crazy. But then at a certain point I realized like Marth was also really fun and good in this game. But aside from that, I love Falco in this game is really fun. I love DDD. Let's see, who else? Wario is really fun. I love Lucas, even though he's pretty bad. Pokemon Trainer is really fun.
Oh yeah.
I mean, like Melee, there's not many characters in this game that I really don't enjoy playing as. I mean, I pretty much never play as Link, like adult Link, just because Toon Link is more fun, in my opinion. Like, he's quicker and just more fluid to play as, I guess.
Oh yeah, no, I agree. Like, Link is kind of clunky and a little bit slow, but like, Toon Link's got some like flippy, like cool, like aerial stuff you can do with him. It's pretty fun.
But no, I mean, great cast of characters. No, like, major stinkers, honestly.
Okay.
I hate that, and this is going to be a continuing thing throughout all of these games. I hate that Zelda is so ass, because Zelda is ass in every Smash game, except for, and I know this isn't an official release, but I might as well bring it up because it was a big thing for a while.
I was gonna say, so
Project M, when that was a thing, and in before Landon says that's not real. I know, Landon. I know it's not real. It's especially not real anymore because you can't. Real. Thank you, Landon. For the ASMR response. But Project M was, for those not aware, was a mod for Brawl that you put on an SD card and then you stick it into your Wii, and when you boot it up, you go to
Stage
I think
builder.
It was like the stage builder, and then it would take you to Project M, which is Brawl, all of the characters and stages from Brawl, but with the physics from Melee.
Yeah, they tweaked things. Originally, it was kind of like a hybrid, but they moved a lot closer to Melee and as updates went on.
Yeah. The thing about Brawl, and like, as much as I love Brawl, this is just true. The gameplay is a lot slower and floatier than Melee. And there's like, admittedly, like, in terms of like competitive play, Brawl is not as exciting in that regard. Not saying that Brawl is there. I mean, there have been some really exciting Brawl competitive sets in the past, but the idea was just to make it, you know, Brawl but faster.
Yeah, I think my thing with Brawl is that because of the lack of like more hit stun, because you can just get air dodge out of a lot of shit, and unlike in Melee, so Melee introduced air dodging, but you could only.
It was directional in Melee.
It was directional, and it also, if you
once you did it once, you just entered free fall.
Exactly. In Brawl, there is air dodging. You don't get directional boost out of it, but you can
just spam it
infinitely. Like
yeah,
and so like and you can do it to get out of hit stun. So like if an opponent starts hitting you, you can like feasibly just air dodge and then just cancel the stun, and then you're back in the game. So it feels like there's not as much reward for being aggressive because the defensive play is just so good. Whereas in Project M and pretty much all the other Smash Brothers games, you can be aggressive, and the game mechanics, they give you the options to be able to do that. Brawl, it's not like you can be aggressive in Brawl, but there's a lot less reward for it. It's a lot harder to be aggressive effectively in that game.
Unless you're playing as Meta Knight, in which case aggressive is the only way to play.
In that case, Meta Knight's the best. Meta Knight's the best. Oh yeah,
it's true.
He's really the best. Broken character.
But yeah, the point that I was getting to is that Zelda is very good in Project M. She was my favorite character in that game, actually. And it just makes me so sad that she's so ass in every other Smash game.
Yeah. So in all the official games, I've always used Pikachu, but in Project M, my main's not actually Pikachu, because I don't actually find Pikachu quite as fun to play. I actually use Meta Knight as my main in that one. And I like Meta Knight a lot in Project M, on top of the fact that Meta Knight, they gave Meta Knight what would become Morpho Knight, which was like this like beta Meta Knight concept where like he had butterfly wings and everything, and like a crimson mask. Like they gave that as like a costume that Meta Knight can have, and I never touched anything ever again in Project M. That was my main, like that Meta Knight. I just always used Meta Knight in Project M. Project M was pretty fun though. I used to play that a lot with my friends, especially like even after Smash 4 came out, I think. Like, definitely at the end of Smash Brothers' lifespan, but no, not after Smash 4 came out. Like, at the end of Brawl's lifespan, though, for sure. We only played Project M. And it was on my Wii, because, like, I figured out how to, like, set that up. So I'd get friends together, we'd be like, yo, you want to play Project M? You want to play PM? All right. We'd get, like, a bunch of guys together, hang out at one of my other friends' houses, and we would all just boot up the Wii and play Project M, and it was so fun. I have a lot of really good memories playing Project M with my friends, actually, because of that. So it's like, this is like circa summer 2014, like right before Smash 4 was coming out, basically. So yeah, good times. Landon, we haven't heard from you yet about Super Smash Bros. Brawl and your experience with it.
Sorry, I fell asleep because you were talking about just something made up. Smash Brothers Brawl. Oh. Back when games were good, am I right?
Landon, would you argue this is the only good Smash game?
It's definitely the closest to a first-person shooter, so yes.
Okay.
Sure.
I don't know how it is.
Please elaborate.
Okay.
Snake's final smash is the grenade launcher, and you like boom.
Yeah, that's true.
Boom.
He's got it.
Kirby's got the Dragoon item, so you can
So you can just go
zoom.
True.
So
doesn't what's his face Captain Falcon have something similar?
Yes, for his final smash.
Yeah.
No, you just stand next to someone, and then you just.
Oh wait, no,
and
that's
then,
right.
Yeah.
Okay. There's so many final smashes that I never used that I don't know. Let's see. So as far as mains go, Sanic and Sanic and Sanic were definitely my mains. I played Green Sanic, Normal Sanic, and I think Black Sanic. I don't know. I used Sonic a lot once I unlocked him.
I'm not surprised.
Yeah, he was definitely the one.
Although,
and the only.
Although I'm kind of surprised no Olimar.
No, I played Omar. I played, obviously, Mr. Game & Watch. Toon Link was another one I used a lot. I played around with a lot of different characters. I even used, like, Lucario. I used Ivysaur. I don't know if there was other characters you could play as Pokemon Trainer, but I knew there was Ivysaur. So there's that. I'm pretty sure I played Donkey Kong. I played, your Mario. I played Samus. This is probably where I really started playing just regular Samus. I don't think I used Zero Suit a whole lot. I probably used her more in Smash 4. Let's see. Is there anything else? There was like a lot of characters. I used them in Melee too, but I liked Ice Climbers. Yeah. I would basically just like turn on. I beat like Subspace Emissary, and then I played a bunch of the other modes. But then it got to a point where all I was doing was versus matches against level 9 CPUs, because I was that like drive like content to play in the game otherwise. And I would just make up fucking stories about why Sonic is beating up Ganondorf and Pikachu and shit. For
Hell
hours.
yeah.
That's pretty funny.
I'm a sad individual.
I
Thank
mean,
you.
I used to do stuff like that, not in this game, but like for other games, I've done stuff like that. So
Yeah.
it's interesting to hear a little bit of your mind, especially on a Smash podcast of all things.
There you go. I mean, we can really dig into some shit when we're in here. Yeah, we can really dig in. So yeah, Smash. So I said it at the beginning, but it was more of a visual gag because I said we're up here now. Smash Brothers Brawl is like the tippy top of like the frame. And it doesn't get better than this, folks. It's all back down. We're just going back down the hill. Regardless of what other people say or think or feel, they are wrong.
Wow.
They're smelly.
I feel like this is a preemptive assault on me.
It's definitely preemptive, that's for sure.
All right. Well,
yeah.
Speaking of going downhill, I guess we'll talk about the next game in the series, which is technically two games that are like two versions of one another, but they are two separate games with substantial differences.
Yes, thank you for bringing up PlayStation All-Stars Battle Royale for the PlayStation 3 and PlayStation Vita.
Beautiful.
I forgot that was released on the Vita as well.
Yep. So we can now move over. So Jack, what are your thoughts about playing as Nathan Drake?
I sure do love kicking barrels at people.
Yep.
It's the only part of the game that matters.
I sure do love playing as that. Cooper? I sure do love playing as Darts from Legend of Dragoon, the character they didn't release but were planning on. Cool.
Okay.
That's all I know.
We got to talk about that game.
That's all I know about PlayStation All-Stars Battle Royale.
Hey, Cloud, do you want to name all of the new characters for this game?
God. All right. So Super Smash Bros. 4. It was split into two games. I'm going to go over the stuff that they have in common first, and then we're going to go by the two versions, what they have unique to themselves. So here's the thing. As far as things that they share, the gameplay mechanics, the roster, the fighter balance, those are the exact same. The characters will play the same. After it took a few updates, but they will play the exact same no matter which version you're on. But pretty much everything else besides the actual physics and like the way that the characters play, outside of that, and some of the modes, most of the game is pretty different. This game does add the ability to play as your own created Mii. You can make fighters based on your Miis. There are 58 playable characters, speaking of which, including the 3 Mii fighters of Brawler, Sword Fighter, and Gunner. But you also have 37 returning characters as well as 21 newcomers. 7 of those 58 characters also were actually added in DLC. This is the first game to get DLC updates. But for newcomers, we've got Rosalina and Luma, Bowser Jr., Greninja, Robin from Fire Emblem Awakening, Lucina as well, Palutena, Dark Pit, Villager from Animal Crossing, Wii Fit Trainer, Little Mac from Punch-Out, you got Shulk from Xenoblade, Duck Hunt Duo, which are the dog and the bird. You got Mega Man, Pac-Man, and then also the DLC added Ryu Cloud from Final Fantasy, not me Cloud, like the Brandon from Final Fantasy VII.
You have selected you, which
yes.
means me, which is incorrect.
You got Corrin from Fire Emblem Fates, and Bayonetta were the newcomers with the DLC. Notably, they cut quite a few characters from Brawl, moving over to Smash 4. Unfortunately, we lost Ice Climbers. We lost...
Boo!
Who else did we lose? We lost...
Wolf
didn't
and
make
Snake.
it. Snake didn't make it. You've got... Lucas originally did not make it.
Originally did not, but they added him as DLC.
Correct. Mewtwo, same thing. He originally still did not make it back after being cut between Melee and Brawl, and then eventually was added back in DLC. He was the first DLC character that came back.
Wasn't that the same for Roy as well?
Roy as well, correct, yep. So Roy, was
our boy.
He didn't make it in Brawl. And originally he didn't make it in base Smash 4, but they did bring him back in DLC. So yeah, you had a few returning characters in the DLC as well. Another major addition, you have the option to play on stages either in their default layout or a new Omega form. And the Omega form is basically Final Destination layout, although the visuals will be whatever the stage is. And interestingly, they do have slight differences. Some of them, the walls just go straight down. Sometimes it is just a platform, so you can go under the stage. It does vary, so there are like a few differences here and there, but for the most part, it's Final Destination with the stage aesthetic of whatever stage you picked. You also have new online modes. There's a no stakes for fun mode, and there's a for glory mode where you can be ranked, so that's pretty cool. Characters also in these games have variants, 1 to 3 have 3 variants for their special moves. You can pick one of for each of these, and you can collect those as unlockables for your characters. So let's say, for example, Mario has his fireball for his neutral B. Well, you can unlock 2 different versions of that fireball attack aside from the default one, and you can pick and choose which one you want. Do you want to go faster and be weaker? Do you want it to be bigger and slower? You can do that. And pretty much for every character's special moves, their up special, down special, neutral special, side special, they all have this. Palutena was the main character that was introduced with this gimmick in mind, because her moves, unlike the other characters, are like all totally different based on which special moves you go with.
She's also the only character where all the special moves are unlocked from the beginning.
Exactly.
And you don't have to unlock the individual moves.
Yeah, because they're all different ones, so they just give them to you at once. And of course, the Mii fighters as well, the Brawler, Sword Fighter, Gunner, all have a selection of different specials, and they're like a big part of their character. Like, spoiler alert, Smash Bros. Ultimate cut the custom moves from characters.
And nothing of value was lost.
Except for the Mii fighters, because they are such an integral part of the Mii fighters kit. Because, like Palutena, a lot of these are very different moves that you can have between your options, so...
The thing about custom moves is that they were such a pain in the ass to unlock that I almost never used them, and they never made enough of a difference for me to really want to go out of my way and get them.
So I think that I liked them for the most part, but as I was alluding to, some of them were not very imaginative. It was like, do you want this move to be faster and weaker, or stronger and slower? Like, that was used for a lot of special moves, and that's kind of boring. But like, then you sometimes had ones with like Pikachu's Skull Bash is so different between the 3 different options. I always pick the heavy one, which is slower, but it like to actually charge up and go, but it's like a huge burst. Like, it's so much faster when it comes out, and it hits like a truck. and it has a different kind of like velocity. So like this, it's weird. It's like, I don't know how to explain it, but it definitely like feels a lot different. And then there's like another one that's like, it goes like just a little bit of the distance instead of like the full distance of the other two. Like it just goes a little bit forward.
He's going the distance. He's going for speed.
Yeah.
Just kidding.
So yeah, I mean that is what the games have together that are shared among them. But let's get into the first of the two versions of this game. Smash Brothers for 3DS, or Super Smash Brothers for Nintendo 3DS, is the name of the game. Released for Nintendo 3DS on October 3rd, 2014 in North America, selling 9.65 million units worldwide, so it is the 8th best-selling 3DS game. We got some exclusive stuff in this game, including Smash Run, which is a mode where you can run around a big stage for several minutes, collect power-ups, and at the end, you fight each other because you've got the other characters going off and doing their own thing. And basically, the power-ups that you have is going to help determine whether or not you're strong enough to kill the other players at the end, so it's pretty cool. There's a more so classic mode is very different in this game, especially between the two versions. If you want a more traditional classic mode, Smash 3DS has the more traditional classic mode. You have like a branching tree that you can go down, but basically you'll pick which way you want to go, and then you'll fight a character based on which direction you go, and then you fight a boss at the end. It's pretty similar to the past ones. I don't know why I add this in, but I guess it's interesting to know, because this is the 3DS version, you're playing on a small screen. You can add outlines to your characters to make them easier to see. There'll be colored outlines based on which character you are. So if you're playing against somebody else and they're like player 2, they'll have a blue outline. If you're player 1, you have the red outline. There are 42 stages in the 3DS version. 8 of these are DLC, and some stages out of these 42 are shared with the Wii U version, but most of them are exclusive to this version. But you have playable modes outside of what I've mentioned. You've got your All-Star mode, you got Multi-Man Smash, you got Target Blast, you have a Trophy Rush mode, which there wasn't really like a mode like this. I don't remember like the exact specifics. I've only played Trophy Rush like a handful of times. Home Run Contest is back. You have a Street Smash mode, which is basically played via Street Pass communication stuff. And then, of course, you have your usual versus modes with your different options that you can play as. So Super Smash Bros. For 3DS.
I think he forgot the most important part of this game. It saves your skin that you select for a character.
That is true. So if you select a character in versus mode and like you have a specific one that you pick, it will just default to that whenever you pick that character every time unless you change it, and then it'll stick to that one.
This is the second best Smash Brothers game. Smash Brothers for Nintendo 3DS.
Specifically.
I've said it. I live my life.
He lives his life.
Jack can live in his fake world with his fake fantasies, but I know the truth.
Yeah. The truth is that Smash for 3DS is the second best one in the franchise.
The entire franchise, because it can save the version of Zero Suit Samus I'm playing as, or Villager that I'm playing as. Thank you.
You know, that's a thing that, like, I've seen a lot of people complain about. Like, why don't the other games do that? And I'm just like, it takes 3 button presses to get to the palette you want.
Also,
That's
or possibly
too many button
fewer.
presses.
Also,
I don't care.
I don't think that would work. I think it only works because it's the 3DS version.
Yeah, exactly.
So, like, you can't really properly do that in the other games because instead of everybody having their own console, you will, like, you're probably going to be playing this on, with your friends present when you're playing multiplayer, and I guess it would go by the port, but what if you don't get the same port? You could end up player 1, you could end up player 4, you could end up player 7, like...
The only way I could see it working is if they do it by, like, profile name.
Yeah. That could work.
Well, then do it.
What?
I wonder how much data
I don't know
that
why
would
you're,
take
why
up.
are you telling me?
Because
Do I look like Masahiro Sakurai?
you look like Reggie Fils-Aimé.
You look like mashed potato samurai.
I would argue I look even less like Reggie than I do Sakurai.
You're both tall.
Oh, wow.
How tall is Reggie?
I don't know.
Let's find
He's
out.
probably
Assuming-
tall.
And before Reggie's actually shorter than Landon.
I mean,
Anyway.
I'm not that much shorter than Jack, so...
Reggie Fils-Aimé is in fact shorter than Landon. He is
Hell
6'2".
yeah.
That's funny.
Hell yeah, let's go.
So, Smash for 3DS, though. I don't know. How much experience do you have with it, Jack?
I remember pre-ordering it and picking it up at midnight when it came out. I do have like a slight nostalgic connection for this game because I bought 2 copies. I bought one for myself and one for my friend out of town, and I drove down to Purdue that weekend and spent it down there for a few days, and we played that a lot together, and it was fun. But the thing is, once the Wii U version of this game came out, I never touched the 3DS version again. Like, I've played it like a handful of times in the last decade, and that's it. It existed, like, it's cool. Like, I think it's a good game, but, like, it was pretty much just a stopgap between the 2 major releases. Like, something that tied people over until the Wii U version came out. And, like, ironically, I do think the 3DS version is actually the better game, just because of the content that it has, but
Speak the truth.
But also, like, I never go back to this one. If you want portable Smash Brothers, you can just play Ultimate on the Switch in handheld mode.
I can't do that.
So,
I physically am not able to do that.
I
Give me
got-
another way to play it.
I got Super Smash Brothers for 3DS on launch as well. I played the demo, and I was really excited. And I will say that, pretty much just to echo what Landon and Jack have said, it's from a single player perspective, it is definitely the better version of Super Smash Bros. 4, because, like, we'll get into it, but, like, a lot of the single player content in Smash 4 sucks. Like, it's a
major downgrade from Brawl.
It is not just a major downgrade from Brawl. It's a downgrade from Smash for 3DS that came out a month before.
Yeah.
Like, it's not as good. Like, I mean,
Like,
we'll get into it, but, like, Super Smash Bros. For 3DS, I mentioned exclusively, you have a more traditional classic mode. It's a good classic mode. I like it. It's pretty good. I think it's like, it does the job the classic mode should do. And Smash Run, that's just a mode that should have come back. Like, why have they not brought back Smash Run?
honestly, yeah, Smash Run is pretty fun.
Who doesn't want to run around a big stage for a few minutes and then use power-ups that you collect to beat the shit out of each other? It's great.
It's fun.
Exactly. So, yeah, I think my problem with Smash for 3DS is, like, it's on the 3DS. And even if you play this on a new 3DS where the load times are better, you have extra buttons, you've got a nub that acts as a C-stick, I mean, it's still a 3DS, so it's still not the most comfortable way to play any fighting game. Not even Smash Brothers, like any fighting game. It can play them. I think that it did a fine job with Super Street Fighter 4. I love that version of the game. But it's still on a 3DS. Like, you probably want to be playing your fighting games on a TV with a standard controller that's nice and comfortable and has more responsive buttons and doesn't cramp your hands. Like,
remember, like, the absolute fiasco of people tearing off their circle pads
yep.
when this game came out.
Oh my God, so much. It happened to me.
And It did not happen to me, actually. But, like, even so, like, you could just glue it back on. It's not hard to do. Like, I don't get why that was, like, such a big deal.
Jack, do you know how many people just eat glue in this country?
What?
A lot.
What does that have to do with it?
They don't know how to use glue, Cloud.
Oh, fair. But yeah, Smash for 3DS. Landon, did you get Smash for 3DS?
Oh. Baby, yes. Jack and I have actually played quite a bit of online matches where
That's right.
It was a absolute miracle if I ever took a stock from him. That was my bar of like
I remember
winning.
I remember we stopped playing it because, like, I would just kind of win most of the matches, and you were just like, "No, we can keep playing. We can keep playing. It's fine." And you just got like kind of quiet, and I'm just like, "You're not having fun with this. We can stop playing."
Landon went into that mode where like you're sulking, but you still want to try to show him up. You need that one more game.
That and the internet was awful. I'd have to stand directly next to the router in order
Never
for
forget.
Never forget. I forgot
how
about
ass
that.
your original 3DS was.
Yep.
Yeah, so there was that. I mean, I look back and I had a good time. Like, it was probably the game I tried the hardest to, like, play. And part of that was because I how often Jack and I played. So there was that. But I was, like, actually trying to do, like, stuff with Zero Suit Samus to, like, play well with her, or, like, Villager. Those were, like... Villager was definitely, like, my main character going forward. Zero Suit Samus I really enjoyed playing. And then, like, some of the classics from, like, before that were carryovers. Like, I really enjoyed my time playing this game. It's just too bad that it's a Smash Brothers game and not something else.
Too bad it's a bad first-person shooter.
Yeah, if it was a good first-person shooter, maybe I'd still not play it.
Yeah.
So moving on to the other version for this game, we've got Super Smash Bros. For Wii U, released for Wii U on November...
For Nintendo Wii U.
Nintendo Wii U. On November 21st, 2014 in North America, so about a month and a half after Smash for 3DS. It sold 5.82 million units worldwide, so it actually did sell better than the original Super Smash Bros. It is the third best-selling Wii U game. As I mentioned, we've got some stuff that is exclusive between the two. The Wii U version has Smash Tour, which is you're like on a Mario Party board, but
it's shit.
But nothing really happens. You just collect. Yeah, we'll get to it.
It's stupid.
The classic mode in this game is anything but classic. You're on a board, and then, like, there's a bunch of trophies representing the characters, and you, like, go over to pick the one you want to fight. But, like, the fight rules are all wacky and all over the place, and they're pretty random. Like, they don't have, like, a rhyme or reason to them. Like, it's and then you just do that a bunch of times until you fight the boss at the end. And that's it. It's really kind of, whatever. There's the addition of 8-player Smash. So for the first time, you can get up to 8 people duking it out all at the same time. It is chaos incarnate. You can only do it on select stages. And at first, but when the game first came out, that stage selection was very small. Like, there was barely any stages you could do it on. But updates with time, they were able to get it to work. And they put it on a bunch more stages. So you've got, like, a pretty sizable chunk of stages that you can do 8-player Smash on. And in fact, I think you can play on more stages than you can't at this point since the updates. But don't quote me on that. Speaking of stages, there are 55 stages in this game, and 9 of those are DLC. I did not misspeak. There is one extra DLC stage for this version over the other version. I'm pretty sure it's Miiverse.
the best stage in this game.
Yeah.
The second
Miiverse.
best stage in this game.
After what?
Landon sparking.
The Great Cave Offensive.
He's got it.
God. But yeah, Miiverse was exclusive to the Wii U version, probably because the Wii U could handle all the stuff it pulls from Miiverse to like show on the stage. But yeah, 12 of the stages, I didn't mention this, but of those stages that the two share, there's 12. So the 3DS version has 30 stages that are exclusive to it. The Wii U version has 43 stages that are exclusive to it. So most of the stages. In the base game, I should say. So, I mean, that is most of them anyway. Outside of the other stuff I mentioned for modes, you've also got your Trophy Rush, Target Blast, Multi-Man Smash is still here. You've got Home Run Contest is in this version. There are Master Orders and Crazy Orders, which is basically the replacement for the event mode. And it's really weird because it's like, it just kind of like randomly picks like certain circumstances that you have to fulfill, and then you like please the powers of the Master and Crazy Hand, and it's weird. You've got, of course, the same thing as the 3DS version with the versus modes and stuff like that. So Smash for Wii U. I should be noted that both of these games share most of their unlockable characters. The Wii U chops off 4 of the unlockable characters that were in the 3DS version and just makes them playable right out of the gate. So not a whole lot of unlockable characters, especially in the Wii U version, where there's only 8. And yeah, so now that we've got both of these here, which characters did you guys use?
I also played this game competitively, albeit briefly, just because it was the new game at the time and people were playing it. But I played Sheik, Rosalina, and Zero Suit Samus. And I would just kind of like cycle between those 3 depending on how I was feeling. I think I played Sheik the most. But according to my friends who would not let me play Rosalina because I was too annoying with her.
That's funny.
Martha's once again good in this game. This game features probably the best Ness and Lucas in the franchise, which is sad because they're C tier. But you know, let's see who the fuck else is in this game. We got Shulk, who has a unique gimmick with the Monado.
The Monado.
The Monado.
He wields actual Mo from The Simpsons.
I do have a pic. I don't have exactly that, but I do have a picture saved somewhere of Mo
with the Monado
wielding the Monado.
Yes.
Feeling.
It's the Monado.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, characters though.
Yeah, I mean, like a lot of fun characters in this game. I mean, like once again, very few that I straight up don't enjoy playing as. These days, I would probably just pick random if I were to go back to this game, but
you main random. You're such a baller.
There's no reason for me to go back to this game, quite frankly. And that's the thing about Smash for Wii U. It is the only game in the entire franchise that I would say is like
completely obsoleted.
Completely obsolete. Like there's no reason to play this game when Ultimate exists.
Yeah.
And for that reason, I would say this is probably the worst Smash Brothers game, just because it brings the least to the table out of
disagree.
all of them. Okay, Landon, I don't care.
Oh, okay. Then I'll continue.
I'll say that this is the game where I started branching out and playing a lot of different characters. So obviously Pikachu's still my main, but Roy, when he came out, he became my secondary, so I use him a lot. But I also used Cloud a lot when he came out. I use Toon Link again a lot, but a lot of this stuff is like carryovers from like Smash Brawl. So I was still using Sonic quite a bit. I was still using Toon Link. I was still using Falco, basically. But I did pick back up Captain Falcon, and I love Captain Falcon in Smash 4. He is fun. I like him better in Ultimate, but he is a lot of fun to use in Smash 4. He is super rushdown, aggressive, fast. He hits hard. He's very fun to use. I use Mewtwo a bit. I think he's cool, but I don't know. I've used so many characters in Smash 4 that like it would be less time for me to list the characters I don't really use, and that is Villager, Olimar. That's it. Yeah, just those two. I pretty much will use anyone else. Like Jack and Landon said, though, like, this is the worst version out of the two. But I agree with Landon. I don't think it's the worst Smash game. But it definitely isn't very high for me anyway. Like,
I think it's the worst just based on, like, what's the likelihood of me going back to any of these games?
Yeah, that's fair.
This one is easily the lowest.
Yeah.
Oh, in that case, they're all the worst.
Because Landon will never go back to any of them.
Hey, Landon, you want to play Smash for... Actually, no, we can't play Smash for 3D.
Because the
You can't
online's
even
gone.
tempt me. You can't even try to tempt me now, baby. Ha!
Yep. So yeah, I don't know, Smash for Wii U. It's, like Jack said, it's the most obsolete Smash game in the franchise. But I mean, it does have 8-player Smash, and it doesn't control, like, with hand cramps as a caveat. So there's that. I don't know, Landon, did you have a lot of experience with Smash for Wii U? We played it before online.
We did play it at least once before online.
There's a video surviving on our YouTube channel.
There's a few surviving videos, honestly. It's fine. It's probably my third favorite Smash Brothers game. Yeah, but that's only because it's what it is. It's probably because it has Villager, and I like using Villager in this game, and that's it.
There you go.
Yeah.
Well, we're going to move on to the final Smash game then. That is...
Well, I'll leave. You guys have fun.
Wow. Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, released for Nintendo Switch on December 7th, 2018. And that was actually a worldwide release. That wasn't just North America. Everybody got it all on the same day. It has, as of this podcast, sold 34.22 million units up until March 31st, 2024. It is still actively accumulating sales, and although this podcast will go up before the next time that the sales are updated, a few weeks later we're going to be getting a report, and it'll probably have sold a little bit more. So that, 34 million units and counting.
That's a lot.
There are 89 playable characters, counting all characters that can swap as separate characters. So Squirtle, Ivysaur, Charizard, Pyra, and Mithra, spoiler, are new characters. They can swap between each other. They are all counted as separate characters here. 13 of those 89 are DLC. This is the first game in the series where if a character is considered like a clone or based on that other character, they are actually denoted as an Echo Fighter. And they have a few of these characters, both added that are newcomers as well as existing ones from the previous game. So in total, though, our newcomers consist of Daisy, King K. Rool, Ridley, Dark Samus, Incineroar, Chrom, Isabel, Inkling, Ken from Street Fighter, Simon and Richter Belmont. This was all base game. And then the DLC added Piranha Plant, Joker, the hero from Dragon Quest, Banjo and Kazooie, Terry Bogart, Byleth, Min Min, Sephiroth, Steve from Minecraft, Kazuya, Pyra and Mithra, and Sora, all joining the roster. Notably, the big selling point of Super Smash Bros. Ultimate is everyone is here. Everyone from the previous games that was ever cut between entries, everyone's back.
Is back.
They're all back. They're all here. Everyone is here. So this is a massive roster of playable characters. 115 playable stages. Notably, nothing to my memory is unlockable as far as stages go. Everything's just unlocked right from the start. Now this is with DLC.
The characters, on the other hand,
yes,
a different
going
story.
back to the characters, I mentioned that the unlockable characters in Smash 4 was kind of lacking. In order to make up for that, because they did hear the fans complaining that there wasn't enough to unlock, they decided that the only characters you start the game with are the first 8 from the first Smash game that you start when you first boot up Smash 64. So you get Mario, DK, Yoshi, Fox, Kirby, Samus, Pikachu, Yoshi? Did I say Yoshi?
Yeah.
You get those 8 characters, and everyone else has to be unlocked. Every goddamn character.
And I prefer it this way, actually. I like unlocking the characters, actually.
I fucking love it. So we'll get into it. We'll talk more about it. But in addition to all the characters and stages, I should mention for stages, on top of the Omega forms, you've also got Battlefield forms. So like now everybody can play on this whatever stage, and it'll have the 3 Battlefield platforms and nothing else. And on top of the Echo Fighters and the Battlefield forms, Ultimate also has a new adventure mode with World of Light. It's not quite Subspace Emissary. You're on a path that is a very detailed path on multiple maps, and you move around, and you can fight themed battles with spirits. Spirits are the replacement for the stickers from Brawl, and there's a lot more dynamic to them. They really change the way that you play the game, and the characters that you fight are going to pull from like various characters, not even just from Smash Brothers, but from just gaming in general, with the characters representing those characters using spirits to kind of like make them feel like that character would if they were actually a character in the game. So you got some interesting stuff going on there. And then, of course, I did mention, unfortunately, because of the spirits being the main thing, they did get rid of trophies. So trophies are gone. They've been replaced by spirits in this game. And there are a lot of spirits. There's like almost double the amount of spirits as there were trophies in previous games. But, I mean, they're 2-dimensional like images rather than like 3-dimensional things that you could like move a camera around and look at from different angles. So like
I wish that they didn't get rid of trophies entirely. Like, I'm fine with spirits as a concept, but I kind of wish they still at least had like the character descriptions and everything.
Yeah, like
because every trophy in the previous games would have like several paragraph description on the character and their origins.
Yeah, so it would have been nice to have like a blurb that you could like read for the stickers at least, or the spirits.
Yeah. And also like going from a full view of a 3D model of a trophy to just a 2D image is a downgrade,
I would say,
honestly.
I would have settled with, if they had to like cut back on the amount of trophies, like keep like the fighter-based ones for clearing like the classic mode and stuff like that, and like keep like some of the other like related stuff, and keep like the blurbs and all the stuff that those trophies would normally have, and then you could still have the spirits. But yeah, they just cut trophies entirely, unfortunately. But don't want to dwell on it too much because we have more stuff to talk about with this.
This is another reason why Smash for Wii U is a better game than whatever garbage this thing was, because there was a Commander video trophy
in the Wii U version. Okay, that's fair.
But Landon, there's a Shantae spirit in Smash Ultimate.
Do you think I ever played enough Smash whatever the fuck to know what the fuck that is?
I guess not.
I'm just not going to answer that question.
All right.
So yeah, so on top of the modes that I mentioned, you have the return of a lot of different stuff like classic mode, multi-man smash. All-star mode is not here as a separate full mode. It's been like thrown into the multi-man smash. It's a little weird. So it's a little bit more randomized. They don't like specifically choose the characters in a specific order based on like their release or their series release or anything like that. But you will get to fight all of them. They're just randomized and thrown into like this thing where they're super easy to beat. I don't know why. Home Run Contest was originally not in the game, but they did add it through updates. This is also something that they did with the Stage Builder. It originally wasn't there, and then they added it after. And to be fair, the Stage Builder has gotten a little more detailed with every installment, so like this one has even more that you can do with it versus the one for Wii U, which we didn't really talk about, but it was there. You have the same versus modes as always, but you also have the new Squad Strike and Smashdown. Smashdown's literally Iron Man, and you take turns picking characters, and each match you do, those characters can't be used anymore, and you move on, you move on, you move on. So that's pretty cool. You can like score yourself based on how many characters you can win with. Squad Strike, you pick like a bunch of characters at once, and they each get one stock, and you just kind of just do a really quick fight with characters rotating through that way. So a couple different new ways to play. There is a revamped online mode though, so instead of just like picking like friends, anyone, like you can pick like a battle arena, and you can make rooms, and you can make rule sets for those. So, and the ranking mode is a little bit more robust than it was before, so you got a bit better for your online play. It's not like a huge leap forward. But yeah, so Smash Ultimate, like the big thing really is just the massive amount of playable things. I will say, going back to what we were talking about with unlockables, I didn't mention this, but I have had a get-together launch party for both of the previous two Smash games, Wii U and Ultimate. And I will say the one for Ultimate was so much more fun than the one for Wii U. The Wii U one was fun, but there wasn't a whole lot to unlock because most everything was unlocked already. Ultimate,
yeah,
I unlocked like 2 or 3 extra characters before we started the big get-together. So I think I increased the playable character count at first from like 8 to like 12 or so. And then we unlocked the other 65 plus characters that were around at the time. Because this was before DLC, so there was like about 60 characters or so. Yeah, we unlocked all of them over the course of that get-together. Like, we did not stop playing until everybody was unlocked. So, it was a fun time.
How long did that take?
I started the get-together, I think, around like 10:30 in the morning, 11 o'clock. And we were still going until like, I want to say like 11 at night. Like,
oh, wow.
We were at a good 12 hours.
That's crazy.
I had about a dozen people come in and out, or more. And we were like rotating around people. Like, so everybody got to play a bunch, and a lot of people got to play. It was a really good time. We ordered pizza, we had snacks, we laughed. This was when me and a really, really good friend of mine at the time had our own apartment. So like we had no obligations or anything. We didn't have to like, keep it quiet for somebody. And it was a pretty sizable apartment. And so like we just had everybody get in the living room and just had at it. It was fun.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. So but before we get deeper into that sort of stuff, I just want to share that Jack, you had some stuff to talk about with character unlocking.
I did?
Yeah.
Oh, I was just going to say, like, in Smash for Wii U, there are, like, I think 8 unlockable characters in the entire game. And with how many total characters they had, it just kind of made me think, what's the point? And
it is
Ultimate, all except for 8 of them are unlockable. And I just think, like, even if it is, like, pretty easy and nothing's, like, quite as time-consuming as, like, unlocking Mewtwo and Melee.
Yeah, because it's
still fun. It's still fun to do,
So,
like, to hear the fucking wow, and you see the silhouette, and it's just like, oh, fuck yeah, we're gonna unlock Falco now.
We didn't really get into it a whole lot, but, like, that is one of the most exciting things in a Smash Brothers game when you're playing it for the first time, is just seeing that new challenger approaching Splash. Like, I have a shirt, and it has the Smash Brothers Brawl image that's used for that screen. Obviously, there's no character on it. It's just the logo and the challenger approaching thing, but it's that iconic to me. Like, I love it. I did want to mention, though, back before you, like, start talking about your experience with the game overall, you mentioned that Wii U only had 8 playable, unlockable characters, and it was such a low amount, right? That is the second least in the entire franchise.
After the first game. That's crazy.
It has less than Brawl. It has less than Melee.
It has less than Melee.
And since it has the same ones as the 3DS version, minus 4 more that were added as, like, starter characters. Yeah, so the 3DS version had several more as well. That's funny.
Yeah.
So yeah, characters that you played as, though, as well as, like, just your general experience with the game.
I played Ultimate quite a bit. Like, I feel like I kind of downplay how much I played it, but I did spend probably a good 150 to 200 hours in this game, somewhere in that ballpark. I don't remember. But I played it at launch. It came out in, like, December. Is that right?
December 7th.
Yeah, and I remember playing it a lot over that Christmas break, like when my friends were home. And yeah, I mean, it's a great time. It has a absolute shitload of stages. It has a shitload of characters. It really is, like, outside of, like, not having a subspace emissary, it really is kind of the ultimate experience in the series, hence the name. But in terms of characters I play as, I'm kind of all over the place in this game because there was never a point where I was, like, competitively interested in this one, because by this point I dropped out of, like, any interest in competitive Smash by this point, because it just got to a point where I just wasn't having fun with it anymore. So I don't necessarily have a main for this game. I think the characters that I play are at least the ones that I have the most fun with are, I love Ness and Lucas a lot. Wario is always really fun. I love Roy in this game. Let's see, Mr. Game & Watch is really fun. I love Byleth, actually. Like, my friends and I, we have a thing where we'll just kind of, like, we usually just, like, play whatever characters in, like, a particular session, but there will be, like, one point where we'll play on the Garreg Mach Monastery stage, and all 3 of us will play as Byleth, and it's just a chaotic mess, because Byleth is such a busted character. Like, not overpowered by any means, just, like, kind of busted in how, like, powerful their moves are.
Yeah.
And it's always really entertaining. But yeah, I mean, that's, other than that though, I play a lot. I'll play random a lot in this game. Like, I'm genuinely okay with just about any character in this game. If I get like, oh, I got fucking Wii Fit Trainer, cool.
So
yeah, that's
I asked
pretty much it.
So I'm gonna ask this real quick to you, Jack, because obviously you played Smash Brothers Brawl for the hefty amount of really good single player content to go through.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't bother asking for the previous game because honestly there's not a whole lot to do in Smash 4 besides play Smash, especially for the Wii U version. But I do want to ask, because there is a legitimate discussion we could have about this, is what would be the thing that you did the most with your time with Ultimate? Would you just say you went back to just playing just regular Smash matches, or did you...
In terms of it depends. I did play through the entirety of the World of Light. It's not a replacement for the Subspace Emissary, but I do think it is a fun single player mode that has a sense of progression, and it's there are people that do Nuzlocks for the World of Light, which I think is pretty interesting, because you just kind of do all of these unique themed matches, and you have these characters that you fight with weird stickers, and they have specific attributes, and it's pretty cool. I like it. But it's no Subspace Emissary.
Yeah.
It's missing the fun cutscenes where the characters interact with each other and all exist in the same world together.
There's a couple cutscenes to introduce and close out the story, and then there's a couple cutscenes for the very few bosses that there are. There's only a couple bosses, and they're spread out all over the place, so you don't really feel like there's a whole lot. And if you don't find a boss, then you won't be able to fight them. And you get a very brief cutscene that with the boss coming in and showing itself off, but it's nothing personal, because it has to account for the fact that you could have any characters showing up for this fight. It's not like the Subspace Emissary where they have it orchestrated who your characters will be at that point in the game, so they can't have character interaction like that. So yeah. As far as did you have anything else to add, or was that basically...
That was basically it. I think in terms of multiplayer, it was just playing matches. Most of my time spent in Ultimate is with the multiplayer. I didn't spend quite as much time with it by myself as Brawler Melee.
Okay.
So
I will say this is the Smash game that I probably had the healthiest balance of content that I played. With Brawl, it was Subspace Emissary and then pretty much all multiplayer versus Smash from then on. Melee, I guess this is probably the first time since Melee I engaged with everything in in about equal parts, because I've played lots and lots of versus matches, but I also didn't just do regular ones. I also did Squad Strike and Smashdown, especially Smashdown, several times with one of my friends. We would just go run through Iron Man through the whole thing. I did World of Light, I did the whole thing. I have played through a majority of the characters' classic modes, because unlike the last several games where the rules for the classic modes fights were not strictly defined, with Melee and Brawl, they'd have specific themes for each stage you would be on, but you didn't specifically fight the same thing each time. And Wii U and 3DS was pretty much all over the place. But Smash Ultimate actually has a very rigid classic mode, kind of like the first game, but it's tailored to each character. So I wanted to go through each one. I wanted to be I want to see oh, what will this character have for their classic mode? And there's a lot of references and cool stuff that they do with that. So this is my favorite classic mode in the entire franchise, just hands down. And so between that, as well as just doing the regular Smash versus mode quite a bit, I'd say I played quite a bit of like every version. Like Smash 4, it's probably easier if I mention the characters I don't use, because even though this game has a roster of 89 characters, I have somehow only really not cared for Villager and Isabelle, because I don't like the playstyle. I don't know why, it just never really struck with me. Olimar got a little better for me. I can play as Olimar now in this game. I don't know what it is that makes it more tolerable for me, but that's about it. But like, obviously my main is Pikachu. A lot of my characters that I used carried over from Smash 4. I just use them more often. And then as far as newcomers, I also played as Sephiroth for quite a bit. I use Pyra and Mithra a lot. Like a lot now. Honestly, I probably use them more than I use Roy. And then I use Sora quite a bit. And I also like to dabble with like the Dragon Quest hero. So it's pretty cool that you can like pick from the hero of one of several games in the franchise. I think that's really cool that they did that. And yeah, pretty much just those. I mean, I guess I use Joker sometimes, but yeah. It's
the Joker, baby.
It's pretty much all like the characters I used in Smash 4, plus some new people that I like from this game. But yeah, I mean, I still pick it up from time to time. I played it the other day. I was like down at the laundromat waiting for my clothes to go through, and I was like, yeah, I have Smash on here. Sure, why not? I played Smash. So, yeah. I like Smash Ultimate. I think it's probably my favorite game. But I'll ask at the end after we when we're wrapping up, like where you would rank them all. But I want to hear from Landon first, though, what your experience with Smash Ultimate is, which is hardly any. Landon, do you want to tell us about how the E3 reveal for this game spent 20 minutes out of 35 and ruined the game for you?
I did the bare minimum to play the characters I wanted to. I unlocked Zero Suit Samus, Sonic, Villager, and Daisy, and I don't know if and any characters that were required for me to unlock those characters. I don't think I unlocked. To this day,
you'd have not unlocked everybody else in the base game.
And the only DLC character I have is Piranha Plant.
I'm surprised you didn't even bother to get the hero. Like
that costs money.
That's true.
For a game that not only do I rarely play it, but I haven't even bothered with any of the single player content. So if I can't be bothered to unlock all of the characters that are in the base game, there's no way I'm gonna pay for characters.
That's
now
fair.
If Nintendo wanted to release Smash
Deluxe
Brothers
edition?
Ultimate for real this time and just give me that content, I'll buy that and then still not play it because it's the world I live in.
Yeah, you buy
anyway,
games
I
and don't
posted a
play
picture of I posted the picture of my rankings, so you can just look at that. It's on it's a little line graph.
It's a little line
It's in
graph.
the spoilers.
Oh boy.
Yeah, it's in the spoilers. If you want to describe that for the people at home.
So, Landon has what is basically a hill, and you've got Smash 64 kind of starting up a little bit ways up. And then Melee, it starts going up. Brawl, it goes up a lot and then peaks. And then it dips down and then flattens for a second for Smash 3DS. Then dips down and flattens again for Wii U. And then just goes down to the bottom of the image for Smash U, which is pointing off the frame. So, yeah, that's his.
There you go.
Well, how about you though, Jack? What would you rank them?
Just out of sheerly out of personal enjoyment, Brawl is my favorite, then probably Melee, and then Ultimate. These two are kind of interchangeable, just based on my mood. Then Smash for 3DS, 64, Smash for Wii U.
So I would probably say Smash Ultimate is my favorite one, so I would put that at the top. I would then put Smash Brawl, just because of the experiences I've had, the content that's there. Even if it plays technically the worst out of them, it's still one of the most fun, so whatever. I would probably put Smash Melee next. Brawl and Melee are kind of interchangeable, although I still think I would put Brawl above Melee. Smash 3DS is like solid fourth, like right in the middle. Smash Wii U, and then Smash 64. It's not that I hate Smash 64, it's that even looking at it as an N64 game, the content's shallow. There's not a lot to do. So like,
yeah.
And like there's not a lot of options for your versus mode besides turning items off. So like there's the content and the options for that content, even for 64 days, are a little like low. So that's just why I put that there. And plus the stages, there's like one or two playable stages for real. And then a lot of the stages are not good stages for like 1v1 versus. They're all very solid for like 4-player versus. But if you're playing with just one other person, you want to be kind of serious, there's really only like one stage, and you might be able to gentleman out a second one. That's it. So like, yeah. That's why I put Smash 64 at the bottom. So like that's mine. I only have a couple other quick questions. What is a not character related thing that you would want to see in the next Smash Brothers game, or just a future Smash game in general?
I would like another story mode, honestly. It doesn't have to be exactly like the Subspace Emissary, but like just the world they created in that story where like, and I love the lack of dialogue. Like I honestly love like the characters just like interacting with each other with like no dialogue whatsoever. Like there's so much like actual expression with those characters without any of them actually saying a word.
They focused on visual expression for interaction versus verbal, and they did good.
Yeah, it's great. Yeah, I would say that first and foremost.
I think we're all in agreement here. Just another more like
just
deeper story mode.
Really just like a focus on single player content would be great.
I would say like I think Smash Ultimate was on the right track, especially after Smash 4, of like giving us a good amount of single player content. Most of the stuff that's been there across the series is back here in some form. But bring back Smash Run.
Yeah, why not? Bring back Smash Run.
Bring back Smash Run.
It feels like that would be very easy to implement.
Yeah. Honestly, you could like the Great Cave Offensive by making it a Smash Run stage. Expand it and just make it a Smash Run stage. There you go. Because I do not like the Great Cave Offensive otherwise. Smash for Wii U introduced some massive stages for 8-player Smash, and God, do I hate them.
Something you didn't mention is the Ultimate removed the stage restriction for 8-player Smash. You can do it on any stage.
Yep. And it's funny because you can do it on like these like tiny stages like Final Destination. It's great. So yeah, I think that's the only thing I would think of is just bringing back Smash to Run and just like kind of incorporating some of their biggest stages that they've used and just like fleshing it out. I think that'd be really cool. Landon, did you have anything else to add, or was just story mode, Subspace Emissary style, the only thing?
If you like cut anything that's not a Fire Emblem character and then just add more Fire Emblem characters, I'd be happy.
Not character stuff. I have that as a separate question.
Oh, sorry. Then I'll hold my answer.
All right. Oh, you know what? I think it'd be nice if they did go back and do like event match style stuff, but like I think you can kind of like just kind of make that yourself, sort of, with the options that you're given. So I guess it's not like a total loss, but it'd be nice to have like actual like event matches. Although like, no, I mean that's kind of what they just did with World of Light. Really, World of Light is just a story mode for event match. Yeah, that's real. I just had an epiphany. It's like we don't have an adventure mode. We have a event mode that's just really big. God damn it, they got us. And then my other question was characters you'd like to see in a future Smash game. I mean, even though we've got a big roster in Smash Ultimate, that doesn't mean that everyone you could really want is here. So I'm sure you can probably think of something.
Genuinely, I know it's kind of a meme that he's not a playable character, but like, Waluigi, please. It's time to give Waluigi a playable spot on the roster. Like, I feel like he's a prominent enough character. Like, think of like any major character from a Mario Kart game. You can play as just about all of them in Smash Brothers, except for Waluigi. Like, you can play as goddamn Iggy.
Yeah, you can play as the Koopalings, because they're all Bowser Jr. alts.
But no Waluigi.
Yep.
I think the craziest thing they could possibly do is the reveal trailer for Smash 6, whenever that may be. The first character, new character, I should say, they introduce is Geno.
That would be wild.
Like, the character that people have been asking for literally since before Melee.
Yeah, so I didn't mention it, but Smash Ultimate did, even in the base game, bring a lot of characters that were like long time requests. Like I said, the characters like K. Rool, Ridley, like you had characters that people were asking for forever. Banjo-Kazooie, like these were long time fan requests, so like they're gonna have to start digging for some of the other big requests now. And Geno's still up there.
It's still bright.
I have been campaigning for Shantae since before Smash for Wii U, and I still want her in the game. I think Shovel Knight would be really cool too. I can't think of much else. I would love Phoenix Wright. I think that would be funny.
I mean, he's been
he was in Marvel. They can put him in fucking Smash Brothers.
I was gonna say, he is, so thanks to all of the Ace Attorney collections, you have so much Ace Attorney on the Switch. It's time. He is a sort of Nintendo icon at this point. Third party wise, at least.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody else?
Off the top of my head, that's all I got.
Yeah, I mean, I'll say, I think if I wanted to campaign for a character that, like, I'm not super attached to, but I think would be a really good fit, I do think that, like, Phoenix Wright is probably actually, unironically, one of, like, the big ones at this point that you could put in there that, like, would fit Smash Brothers. Like, he's a perfect fit for Smash Brothers, I think. But, hear me out, guys. Super Smash Brothers Cross Shadow Ultimate.
What does that even mean?
It means, why didn't we get Shadow as an Echo Fighter for Sonic? And why don't we have Shadow as a playable character?
Because he's a Mii costume.
No. First of all, no.
Yes, I am correct.
I'm not
he
saying
is a Mii costume.
I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm saying I don't like that.
Gee, that's too bad.
But yeah, no, I think Shadow should have been in the game, considering they literally made Echo Fighters to classify these separate characters like Daisy, Dark Samus, and yet no Shadow the Hedgehog. Okay. Whatever you say, Sega. I'm blaming Sega because it's probably them. So yeah, that probably just Shadow Phoenix, right? God, is there? If I wanted to like be like a little cheeky, it'd be cool to see Chrono from Chrono Trigger. But I know that would never happen. Like that is my out there pick.
Honestly, I would love it, but
Gino is more likely than Chrono by a long shot.
Oh, absolutely. Like, not only is like Gino has much more of a shot, especially with the recent Mario RPG remake. Chrono has appeared in one game that came out almost 30 years ago.
God, I feel old.
Isn't even a Nintendo game. Yep.
Correct. So yeah, that's basically my picks. Landon, you said you wanted more Fire Emblem characters. Can you elaborate?
Owain. Done.
Did you have any other non-Fire Emblem characters that you want them to add?
Estelle Bright. Done.
Two of the least likely characters to ever pop up in Smash. You're like, I'm not asking for much. Just two incredibly out of left field picks.
Hey,
I feel like if any Trails character was gonna get in, it would be Reen Schwarzer.
Oh sure, yeah. But
Estelle Bright.
Now,
if we're talking Estelle, we might as well go ahead and say, let's put Olivier in Smash.
I think Estelle is slightly more likely than Olivier.
Yeah.
And I'm saying that as an Olivier absolute fanboy.
Mm-hmm.
Just because she is
she
might not be the most popular, but she is a face of the franchise.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is correct.
Yes. But I mean, I would love a Legend of Heroes rep, for sure. Obviously, I back the idea of Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney being in it. Same with Jack Shantae. I think Commander Video could be a lot of fun as a playable character. He has enough of a variety of moves in like Runner 2 to like warrant something. And there's a bunch of like indie fighting games. I think he shows up in like one of them.
Landon, what about Bop Louie?
Bop Louie? I don't know if he'd be a great like playable character, but I think he'd make an amazing assist trophy.
Hell yeah!
See, I'm being at least that reasonable when it comes to
at least that reasonable.
Yeah, at least that reasonable. I'm not going crazy here. I was thinking of...
I could have said Isaac from Golden Sun. I'm stupid.
You could have, but you didn't, so...
Too late now.
Yeah, there's no way to add that.
Nope.
No. I'm trying to think. I think it would be cool. I was just throwing this out there. The two main characters from Sea of Stars playing as like one character similar to Ice Climbers, where they're both like out at the same time. But,
yeah, that'd actually be pretty cool. Yeah,
have more like combo characters, where you play as like two. I mean, the AI is essentially doing like the other character, but like a combo character set. I'm sure they can come up with something more than I could.
And I mean, they try to do that at least like once a game in some manner. Like they had Ice Climbers, they had Rosalina and Luma. So like they could do something, yeah.
Yeah, there's ideas out there. So yeah, those are some of my ideas.
So that is all the questions I want to ask, and we've already been going on for a long time. And although this is going to be going out, to a point where it won't be live, but we're going to actually be streaming right after this. So rather than ask how everybody's been, just tune in for the VOD or join the stream for that, because we can just talk about that while we're streaming.
No, we're doing it on the podcast.
You want to do it on the podcast now?
We're doing the trip roundup on the podcast.
All right.
You can talk about your own feelings later.
Before we do that, I do have to say, because I didn't get to do it, Special shout out to Pixel Vixen, our $6 gold Stooge tier patron, because they're still trucking supporting us at the $6 tier.
They're
and of
doing
course
more than Jack.
Yes. So of course, thank you everybody who's subscribed to the Patreon and tuned into our episodes, tuned into our streams, all that good stuff. Of course, as per usual, we have our places that you can find us. As I mentioned, we've got Twitch where we're streaming stuff. We've got YouTube where we export all of our stuff from. We've got a Discord server that pops off sometimes and has some fun shenanigans. So yeah, of course, we've got a bunch of platforms you can find us on. So, you guys have a trip roundup to talk about.
Yeah.
Jack, how is your butthole?
How is his butthole?
My ass is still sore from that whole trip.
It's completely
Genuinely.
obliterated.
Dude. Okay, so here's what happened. Over the past week, while we were gone, Bethany and I drove to Chicago, where Landon and Kari were flying into from Portland.
He almost went to the wrong airport.
I almost went to the wrong airport.
I told him like 4 times we were going to Midway.
Listen.
And he went to halfway instead.
No, he went to O'Hare. Well, he's about to go to O'Hare. But...
I was thinking about it. Because I'm like, yeah, that's the Chicago airport. But anyway, we picked them up at the airport in Chicago, and we spent the entire week traveling Illinois and Indiana for national parks, state parks, national wildlife refuges. Collected a lot of stamps.
Sounds like you went to a lot of
camped.
those places.
We
did.
went to many places. I don't have my passport on me, but we got like
I'm gonna go get mine.
probably like 25 stamps or some shit.
Jeez.
It's crazy. Some places had multiple stamps, to be fair.
That's still a lot, though.
But yeah, we had quite a bit.
That is enough to generalize and pluralize everything rather than mention specific stuff.
We camped 4 nights. Not consecutively. We camped the first 3 nights. We stayed at a cabin the 4th night. The 5th night, we were here at my house, just as like a night to rest. After that, we camped one more time, and then we had our last day where we drove back to Chicago and dropped them off at their hotel. And I drove for most of it. Bethany drove a little bit as well, but I did drive for, I would say, a good 80% of that trip.
Yeah, most of the
And
trip, Jack drove.
My ass hurts really bad from driving so much. Landon is getting the stamps ready to show them off.
I'm getting to the pages. So I've shown these books off before, but we've got the Blue Goose Passport for the National Wildlife Refuge, and then we've got the Passport to your National Parks for the National Parks. We gave Jack and Bethany a copy of these, and then they just used it for both. But so we went to just about all of the parks that are in Illinois. There's literally 3 that we could not go to because they're on the Missouri border.
Oh yeah,
And then
that's
there's
kinda far
only
out.
it would have the trip, like, there's no way with all the places we were going. And then there is 3 in Indiana. So we got all of those, spent time in all of them. And then for the passport, there was several stops we made. So I'll just show off my stamps that we got.
One of the one of the highlights was a place in southeastern Indiana called Big Oak National Wildlife Refuge, which is it was like was it World War II? It was like a munitions testing site, and basically they made us like watch a video saying like don't wander off the paths because there are literally like bombs out here in these woods.
Whoa.
That you could actually run into.
It's still a live, it's still used by the military, the Air Force specifically, for, like, that they have it as a base. So part of it's still that. But, like, the majority of it, is still, like, littered with live munition, like, the possibility of live munition.
That's kind of scary.
They have it very sectioned off. There's only, like, a specific portion that is for public use. There is small sections scattered around that they use for hunting, and they have to limit the number of people that are in like the areas. You have to go through like a gate system, and after you watch the safety video, you have a permit that you basically check in and out whenever you're using it.
Mm-hmm.
I can't imagine not having something like that in place, considering how dangerous that is.
It was fucking badass.
Did you guys feel like secret agents?
It was awesome.
I mean, go ahead.
Okay, I wish we could have spent more time and like really like did some hiking there because of just like how unique of a wildlife refuge it is. But that one was definitely a lot of fun.
It also worked out because it's literally only open on, Mondays, Fridays, and then the second and fourth Saturdays of every month.
Yeah,
oh, wow.
It's
that's
like,
not a whole lot of days to be open.
No.
Yeah.
It was...
Because the military is using it most days.
It was like the sticking point to how I designed the whole trip was the availability of that one park.
That one.
Literally.
Wow.
Literally everything else, like,
take it or leave it, you can just throw it around.
It had a little bit more, like, availability. Some of them weren't open, like, Sunday, Monday. Some of them weren't open, certain days. But, like, that one was, like, so weird. We had to make sure to get there basically on Friday, because there was no other way. Because it wasn't a Saturday that we were going to be open. There was absolutely no way the Monday when we were supposed to be, like, back in Chicago. So it was a fun way to plan around. That one was cool for sure.
Nice. Anything else stick out about you guys' trip?
My favorite place that we camped was a place called Crab Orchard National Wildlife Refuge in southern Illinois, where we had camping spots literally like right in front of this massive lake, and it was a gorgeous view. Like we had some beers, we played some Yahtzee. Actually, we didn't play Yahtzee that night, but either way, we roasted some dogs on the fire.
We did.
Nice.
We played
open fire
BS.
dogs.
But yeah, it was fun.
Yeah, there was a heron that was like eating at the lake's edge while we were like getting ready to go to sleep. It was just like standing there, and then we would watch it dive in, grab fish and shit.
Yeah,
it was really cool. Let's see, what was Jack hated it, but I did enjoy our time at the Indiana dunes.
Okay, I didn't hate the dunes.
Jack
Here's the
was
thing
very
about the
depressed
dunes,
because
because
he
I've
never
been
got
there
to go
before.
Swimming, and it was cold.
We never
in the
got to
morning.
swim. See, here's the thing. I wanted to go swimming on this trip at least once. Never got to. Two of the campsites that we went to did have a swimming available. Like, they had a pool. Only open until 6 p.m. at both places, and both times we arrived like just after 6. Like, we were there just late enough that we could not get to it. And the dunes, for those who don't know, the dunes are like northwestern Indiana, right on Lake Michigan. So like beach area. You can swim. It's like open swimming whenever you want.
Oh, is that the
like
section of
11
Indiana
PM.
that's in like another time zone?
It's one of the two.
That's one of them.
Okay.
It's one of the two because we were in both of them. But it was cold. It was too cold and it was windy, and I'm just like, this sucks, man. I don't want to do this. And also there was a lot of bugs. I got bit the shit out of by some bugs when we were at the dunes specifically, and it was entirely because I woke up at like, I don't even know what time it was, but I woke up in the middle of the night and I like just walked out in my flip-flops to go pee because I had to pee, and I wasn't gonna walk all the way back to where the bathrooms were, and I got bit by so many fucking bugs in the 2 minutes I was outside pissing. It was absurd. I have so many bug bites on my feet. But otherwise, the trip was great, and I had fun.
Yeah, it sounded like it. You guys were sharing a lot of stuff in the Discord and the spoilers, like places that you guys had gone to, and just little.
Mm-hmm.
So
we saw Cum Square. We saw lots of video gaming.
so much video gaming.
So much video gaming. Okay. Video gaming, which we would see signs for everywhere in Illinois. Because here's the thing about Illinois, they have gambling in every gas station in the fucking state. Like, there will be like, they call it video gaming because they can't call it gambling.
Yeah.
But they advertise for it fucking everywhere, like 24-hour video gaming. And we would just say it exactly like that. It's like, oh, I wonder if they have video gaming here. And like they would have like slot machines and shit on like video screens.
That's funny.
It was
video gaming.
Video gaming.
Sure.
There was the classic 10 dick. We ate at a
street sign that
Wendy's.
said 10 dick.
On 10 dick.
Right next to the Wendy's. We went to, let's see, it was Fort Sackville.
Yeah.
Led by Governor McNutt. We did not make that up.
George Roger Clark, the National Historic Park, is built on the site of Fort Sackville, where George Roger Clark led a group of his portion of the U.S. Revolutionary Army to take that over from General Hamilton from and whatnot.
And it was a really cool spot, actually. It was just really funny that it was called Fort Sackville.
Yeah.
And also just the sheer number of towns that had Ville. It was just a name with Ville at the end of it. There were so many. The funniest one was probably Jeffersonville. Like, they were all over the place.
And then probably our favorite part of the trip was having the full mouth experience.
Oh my god. So Bethany and Kari had never listened to them before, and when on one of the days when Bethany was driving, we played all of the Neil Cicierega Mouth albums.
Oh my god.
Just for the reactions, and it was 100% worth it.
Oh god. I wish I had been there for that.
It was really funny.
That is funny. What did they think?
Kari hated it. Bethany was just like disgusted, but in a way that like, why does this work? This shouldn't work.
She's like, I hate that I like this.
Yeah.
It's cultured.
It was great. We also listened to the whole Real Big Fish live album, as we have done in the past.
Nice. During the thunderstorm.
During the thunderstorm, God, it was fucking thunderstorming the first day. And like the first day was easily the most stressful and the most challenging, just because it was thunderstorming for like 3 hours on our way to our campsite and was still thunderstorming when we were at the campsite. And we had to like navigate these like backwoods ass Illinois roads with no service and no street lights. It was
no manifestos.
True. That's true.
Did you tell them about the guns don't kill people?
Oh my god, we would play fucking John LaJoie's I Kill People just over and over again because we kept going like old people burning, old people burning, put your hands up. Stupid poor people, I have more money than you.
God.
And like Kari was like complaining because she said it was stuck in her head for like days.
She had a dream while we were at the dunes about someone going around murdering people at the campsite because of that song.
Wow.
Guns don't kill people. I kill people
with guns.
With guns. Pow.
God damn it.
And then, like one last thing to talk about before we jump off this, I got to meet Beans, the little terrorist who could.
The little terrorist who that's a great way to describe him. Beans, Bethany's cat. He was friendly.
He was.
He's always really friendly with new people.
He's a good cat. He's very young.
He's very young and scratches at everything.
Yeah. But he was very cute. And then we got to play Super Mario Party.
Yeah, we
played the mini games.
When we were here on Saturday night, we just decided like Bethany wanted to play Mario Party. So we're like, let's play just the Meat Cube game from Super Mario Party.
Just the one.
And then we just ended up playing like just the mini games from Super Mario Party because the boards themselves are kind of but the mini games are fun.
The mini games are so good in Super Mario Party.
It's funny, we were playing a lot of ones that we don't normally because they were like the cooperative 4-player ones.
Oh yeah,
the ones from like the river
there's been
raft.
A chance to actually play a bunch of the survival thing with like the river rafting. That's fun way,
Yeah.
But we didn't actually play that mode. We just played the mini games for it. So it was a weird like to go back and forth between those. And we just turned it on random because we were just like whatever, just give us whatever. But we got really competitive at trying to get S ranks for those.
Yeah.
So yeah.
All right.
Overall, great trip. 0 out of 10.
Okay.
Not enough stamps.
Yeah. So we've been at this for a while. I don't have anything really important enough to be plugging into a 2.5-hour podcast. So if you want to hear what I've been up to, I'm going to be part of the stream that these guys are doing immediately after this. So you can listen to the VOD or tune into that stream if you're here live. We will chat it up there while we're hanging out for the stream. But as always, thank you all for joining. We've got an outro that will roll for the exported version, and we'll see you later. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to the Gaming Stooges Talks podcast. If you enjoyed us, consider subscribing to our podcast RSS feed or follow us on youtube.com/GamingStooges and twitch.tv/GamingStooges for more gaming content. If you'd like to chat with us, join our Discord. The link can be found in the episode description. We also want to thank all of our Patreon supporters. Your continued support means a lot to us. Not already one? Please take a look at what we have to offer anyone who becomes a patron at patreon.com/GamingStooges. See you next time!